Good afternoon. Hope you're having a great weekend. It is Sunday, March 30th, 1:28 p.m. Central Daylight Time, local time here in Texas. I'm on I-40 westbound, just crossed into Texas from Oklahoma not too long ago, maybe 20 miles ago, making my way to Amarillo. I think we just switched from Central Standard to Central Daylight a couple weeks ago, and I still wish they would get rid of daylight savings time. So I started this morning in Oklahoma City at like 3:30 a.m., drove to Van Buren, Arkansas. I was bobtail in Oklahoma City, picked up a trailer in Van Buren, Arkansas to shop because a Landstar driver broke down under a load. So I took over the load, and I turned around and drove back through Oklahoma City, headed to Amarillo, and now I am pretty close to Amarillo. 84 miles away from the truck stop that I plan on stopping at. When I initially did the trip plan, I thought I was going to have to stop in West Oklahoma and take a 10-hour break because I thought I was going to be an hour or two short of making it all the way to Amarillo. But I'm going to have about an hour of extra drive time. So I should arrive in Amarillo at about 2:45. About an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes from now. It'll be about an hour and 20. So maybe closer to 2:50. And then just camp out for the night. My delivery appointment is at noon tomorrow, noon Monday, and I can't get there more than 30 minutes early. So I have a 30-minute window, 11:30 a.m. to noon. And hopefully it doesn't take them all day to unload me. There's a lot of really negative Google reviews about unloads taking over 12 hours. I've only got 8 pallets in the trailer. This trailer's almost empty. It hopefully won't take 12 hours for them to unload 8 pallets. I think the listing that they put on the load board was 37,000 pounds, but the load's actually 3,700 pounds. So yeah, it's a light load, hardly anything in the trailer. Hopefully we get unloaded in a timely manner tomorrow, and then we just have to see what the freight board provides. I'm not hopeful. Well, hopeful. I am hopeful. I'm not optimistic that I'm going to find a load out of Amarillo. I'm not really familiar with Amarillo market. I've never delivered a load as a final in Amarillo. I've done a multi-stop load where I did a drop in Amarillo, but I've never had to look for a load out of Amarillo. I know it's not a good freight market, but I'm not really familiar with it. I don't know what contract freight comes out of Amarillo, so I don't know, because there are areas where like the freight market is horrendous, but somebody has a contract and you'll occasionally see good loads come out of there that are contract freight. I don't know anything like that about Amarillo. And from what I've seen with the Amarillo market for the last few days I've been watching, it sucks. It's really bad. I'm fairly certain that I'm going to have to deadhead 350 miles to Oklahoma City. Or not Oklahoma City. I'm sorry. I was, man, my mind wanders. I was watching that oversized load, and I was watching the escort vehicle for the oversized load, and I was like, you know what? That would be a fun job to just be an escort vehicle. Those escort vehicles make pretty good money. I can't remember, like, I'm sure it varies, but I think I was told that those escort vehicles get paid like 50 cents or $1 a mile. Uh, they typically get paid something like, like $1 a mile. And I was just sitting there thinking about that. How profitable would you be at $1 a mile as an escort vehicle? Like, what would be your operating cost per mile? It would depend a lot about the vehicle that you purchased. Like, if you bought a $100,000 pickup, you're not going to be very profitable. But if you went with a really economical vehicle, then you could probably be quite profitable. I think that would be a fun job. And I was thinking, you know what? I would probably get a van so that I could live in the van to save on like hotel costs and stuff like that. That would be a pretty sweet gig. $1 a mile. If you had a vehicle that could get, let's say, 20 miles per gallon. Anyway, well, let me finish what I was saying, and then we'll go over to this. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to deadhead from Amarillo to Dallas, not Oklahoma City, Dallas, to get my next load, because the Amarillo market absolutely sucks. However, here's another possibility. You're wandering with my mind right now, by the way. Here's another possibility. I keep hearing that the oil and gas industry is kicking off. There's a whole lot of things in motion, and things should be kicking off by this summer. And West Texas is huge in the oil and gas industry. So maybe I might, instead of deadheading to Dallas, maybe I go down to Lubbock or Odessa Midland. Odessa Midland is huge in oil and gas. I'm not sure what the mileage is to Odessa Midland from Amarillo. That might be as far as Dallas. So I don't know. Maybe there'll be some oil and gas load. Like I'm trying to remember the last oil and gas load that I did. I think it was to Williston, North Dakota. Or was it Williston? I think it was Williston. I can't remember the name of the town I picked it up in. It was somewhere in West Texas. And it was a load of some kind of liquid in totes. I don't think it was hazmat. I don't think it was a placarded load. I do remember that it was so ridiculously cold that the liquid in the totes froze and the trailer stopped sloshing. I remember it required a tanker endorsement, but because it was so cold, it did not ride like a tanker because all the liquid in the totes froze solid. Yeah, that was during like an Arctic freeze, one of those Arctic freezes. I went to one of the coldest places in the contiguous United States. I think it got down to negative 27 degrees Fahrenheit up there in North Dakota while I was there during that Arctic blast. And that's negative 27 air temperature, not wind chill. The wind chill, I think, was negative 50. Those temperatures were so brutally cold. Until you've experienced temperatures that cold, you just don't know how cold that is. Like, it was painful to step outside without my face covered. I had to have all of my skin covered. Any exposed skin would just start freezing as soon as I stepped outside, like instantly. It would hurt. And my eyes, the liquid in my eyes was freezing up. Like my eyes would fog over. I had to like blink my eyes really fast and squint my eyes to try to keep the liquid in my eyes from freezing. That's the coldest temperature I've ever like experienced, was like that negative 27 in North Dakota during that Arctic blast. And then it warmed up to like above zero. It got up to like 5, 10 degrees, 15 degrees Fahrenheit. And I was walking around in shorts and a t-shirt. I remember walking from my truck like 100 feet, maybe 100, no, it's closer to 200 feet from my truck to the truck stop to use the restroom. I just walked it in a shorts and a t-shirt all the time while I was up there. And it'd be like 15 degrees outside, 15 degrees Fahrenheit. And people just look at me weird, walking around in shorts and a t-shirt. I had one guy that looked at me and he said, "You must be from Canada." And I was like, "Oklahoma. I'm just fat." I'm wearing a jacket. It's a fat jacket. But yeah, as long as the wind isn't blowing, 15 degrees Fahrenheit is not bad at all in short durations. Like just walking from the truck to the truck stop with no wind, 15 degrees Fahrenheit, that's nothing. That's not like really cold. Now, if you have to stand out in it for a while, yeah, that's cold. Or if it's windy. Like it can be 30 degrees Fahrenheit. And if there's like a 30 mile per hour wind, that is brutal. I would rather deal with 5 degrees Fahrenheit and no wind than, 30 degrees Fahrenheit and 40 mile per hour wind. Wind will just suck the life out of you. But anyway, yeah, there might be some oil and gas loads kicking off, heading to places like Williston. Maybe I'll get a load to Williston. Or somewhere up in North Dakota. We'll just have to wait and see what hits the board. Do I really want to take a load to Williston? I don't know about that. Because it's hard to find loads coming back out of that area. I had to deadhead all the way to Fargo, which I think was 300 to 500 miles. I can't remember the distance. I think it was closer to 500 miles. That I had to deadhead from Williston to Fargo, and I couldn't even find a load in Fargo. Right lane closed, merge left. Just a second here. I got a four-wheeler to my left. What are they going to do? All right. I don't see the lane closed. Maybe it's really far up there. Or maybe the construction is not ongoing right now. This four-wheeler is just sitting at my rear end on my left, leaving me a spot to get over. Come on, four-wheeler. You're just backing up traffic. There they go. All they managed to do is create a big pack of cars. All these four-wheelers know the left lane's about to close up here somewhere, and they've all put on their F1 helmets, and they're out here just trying to pass everyone before the lane closes. Did I say left lane closes before the right lane closes? Half a mile for the right lane close. All right. When I put my signal on, the four-wheeler stopped passing me and let me over. That dude waited until the last second to move over. That was dangerous. Did they not see, like, all the signs? All right. Recommended 50 mile per hour for the crossover to the other side of the interstate. We're at 45. .44, we're speeding back up. I don't know what speed we got down to. I was trying to pay attention to the road. I think we got down to about 40. Now we're up to 51. Speed limit is 65. But we're cruising at 48 now. How long does this last? And it only takes one person in single lane to just ruin it for everybody. Speed limit is 65 and there's somebody doing 40. Going 25 miles an hour under the speed limit. There was a Martin truck, and this happened multiple times in eastern Oklahoma on I-40 whenever it was single lane over there for a few years, not too long ago. I kept encountering a Martin driver. I don't know if it was the same Martin driver that just kept doing this over and over again, but it was a like 65 mile per hour speed limit through the construction, 60 or 65. And there was a Martin driver that would drive 20 miles per hour in the single lane construction and cause massive backups. And then as soon as the single lane would end, he would floor it and get up as fast as he could because there was a gap. It would go single lane for like 5 miles, 10 miles, and then it would go back to normal, and then for like a couple of miles, and then it would go back to single lane. So as soon as the single lane ended, he would speed up and try not to let anybody pass him until he got back to the next single lane. Then he'd slow back down to 20 again. And he really, really ticked some people off. Oh my good. I think it was like the third time that I encountered this guy doing it. I started telling people on the CB what he was going to do. So I told, it was on the CB, and I was like, yeah, this Martin this is like the third time that I've experienced this with a Martin driver. I don't know if it's the same driver. And I told him what he does. Like, as soon as he gets out of this single lane, he's going to floor it and he's going to try to get to the next single lane before anybody can pass him. And all the trucks were like, well, we'll see if he can, if he can beat me. And as soon as we got out of that single lane, everybody just started taking off and passing that Martin driver. He couldn't out accelerate several of the trucks. They were able to get around him. I didn't try, and I got stuck behind him again doing 20 miles per hour in the second single lane. But I'm not really sure why the Martin driver did that. I mean, are they just like that sadistic? Like, they get enjoyment out of just making other people suffer? Like annoying other people? Is that what some people do for fun? I feel bad when I do something that hurts other people. I'm not sure what it's called whenever you lack empathy. Is that someone who is psychotic or a psycho? Or is that a sociopath, psychopath? I don't know what it is whenever you lack empathy. I think it might be psychopaths that lack empathy. But they're usually fairly good at emulating empathy. Psychopaths tend to be very manipulative. I think it might be the one that lacks empathy. I don't know. I'm just too empathetic. I can't do that to people. Like, I've had people that I really, really, really don't like. They've done some really messed up stuff to me, and I just can't bring myself to do stuff like that to them. Like, I can't do stuff like that to other people. I think I'm too empathetic. What we got? We got 61 more miles. We just rolled over from 62 to 61 more miles. So the escort vehicle. Start an escort vehicle company. No, I don't think that'd be too lucrative. And it would be a pain in the butt to stay busy. There's not nearly as many loads that require escort vehicles as there are normal loads. So it's probably a very competitive market with escort vehicles. And there's probably a lot of, working with friends type thing. That's probably what I would do if I got really serious into escort vehicle loads. I'd probably find some friends and help them start up an escort business instead of just hiring some random escort people. But I don't ever want to deal with those loads. I wouldn't necessarily mind being an escort vehicle for one of those loads, but I don't want to actually drive one of those loads. I think there's more than enough drama dealing with this vehicle, with how big it is, how heavy it is. All of the drama with this vehicle is plenty for me. I don't want to deal with anything heavier or bigger than this. What I really need to do this year, even though the market still sucks, is I need to run hard. I need to make a bunch of money. Even though the market sucks, I can still make pretty good money. And I really need to make a lot of money this year. I need to just do it. You know, like the old Nike commercials, just do it. Make a bunch of money this year. Do a few of the major repairs that I need to do to the house to sell it. Sell the house, sell the car, and either live full time in the truck or also sell the truck and buy the sailboat dream, the 34-foot sailboat, and live full time on the sailboat. But I got to figure out a way to make money on the sailboat. I still have not figured out a way to make money on the sailboat. I want to still be a business owner. I don't want to be an employee. And I have not figured out a lucrative business yet that I could do from a sailboat. I'm sure that I could get jobs as an employee, remote work jobs. Hell, my old job, I think, is fully remote now. I could go get my old job. I don't want to ever do that again. All right, is this guy's taking the rest area exit? No. Yeah, I think this guy wants to exit at the rest area, but they realized that it was not this exit, so they're probably gonna maybe exit at the rest area, because we'll see. We're not gonna have to wait long to find out. Nope, not taking the rest area exit. I guess that they were just like really delayed on throwing their indicator light on. They just like did the lane change and then turned their indicator light on. Or maybe I did not notice they turned their indicator light on when they were doing the lane change. So yeah, liquidate everything, buy a 34-foot sailboat, and just take off out into the Florida Keys. That is the dream. But I got to figure out a way to make money. I need to make at least $30,000 a year. I think I could live off $30,000 a year. Anyway, I'm sitting here thinking about it, and like that's a whole other video. I've talked about it several times on here, the dream, and I'm still trying to figure out how to make it happen. Got to figure out a way to make money. I've looked into fishing. I've looked into scuba diving, cleaning boat hulls, all kinds of stuff, and none of it is realistic. So I'll keep researching. "53 more miles to go, and I have an hour and 52 of drive time, so I'm going to have approximately an hour of drive time left whenever I get there." 62 degrees outside. I hope it's cool enough that I'm going to be able to just shut the truck off and not have to idle for air conditioning. I really need to work on the wiring on the APU generator and see if I can get the APU generator working correctly. I don't trust mechanics to work on it again. I've paid mechanics several times to fix it. Oh, buddy, oh, buddy, oh, buddy. This guy passing me, he drifted way off to the left shoulder, and I was afraid he was going to jerk it over, and sometimes people overcorrect when they do that. And that left shoulder is not very big. If he hits the grass, then he could lose control of the truck. That scared the hell out of me. But yeah, I paid mechanics several times to fix the wiring issue with the APU generator, and I'm just sick and tired of paying mechanics to not do the job and just completely half-ass it. So it's something I'm just going to need to do myself, and I really dread doing it because I'm going to need to fully disassemble the outside coverings. I'm going to have to take the top and bottom off. I take the top off all the time. That's not difficult. It's just like 2 bolts. But the bottom requires me disconnecting the tailpipe to remove the bottom. And I really need to remove the bottom to be able to rewire the APU generator. And I think that's the reason I've always had problems with the APU generator, is because of the idiot that installed it. It's the same idiot that ruined my previous APU. I took my APU to this shop, Big Rig Products there, and they didn't get all the air out of the coolant system whenever they replaced a water pump, and they told me to just run it and it would get the air out, and it didn't. It overheated and it blew the head gasket. So I had to replace the entire APU engine. And he's the one that installed the replacement APU, and like I've had tons of issues with it from day one because he did not hook all the stuff up correctly. The generators never worked right. I found that what he did with the generator wiring was the generator is not even fully wired. He just like connected a wire to a piece of metal with a bolt, and then there's another wire connected to that same piece of metal with a bolt. So it's just going like the 120 volt from the generator is just basically going through the frame of the APU. That's what I need to rewire, is I need to actually wire those two things together so that they're not running through the frame. Like, I don't know if that frame is grounded somewhere. There's something disrupting the flow of electricity, but the generator doesn't work right. And it does. If I ever do get it working right, it won't work for very long. And I'm pretty sure it's because of that wiring issue. And I need to run an actual wire between those two things instead of just hooking them up to the frame and hoping the electricity gets there. But I just keep procrastinating on doing it because it's just going to be a lot of work. It's just probably going to be a multi-day project for me. It's not something I really want to work on out over the road because I'm afraid of getting it all taken apart, and then it's going to take me like multiple days to do it. And I don't want to do something like that at a truck stop. And then when I get home, I don't want to deal with, doing it when I'm at home. So I just keep procrastinating on it. But every time I get out here over the road, I'm like, man, I wish that was fixed. And then I'm tempted to just pay somebody to do it because a mechanic can do it in like an hour. They have the tools, they have the shop and everything like that. And, they do this stuff all the time. They do stuff that they just make things look easy because they have all the right tools. They have done it 100 times. Maybe I'll just pay these mechanics to do it again, and I'll just stand over them and make sure they do it right. That's usually what I do, is I stand over them and micromanage them to make sure that they do it right, because I just do not trust mechanics. They will break crap and hide it, and then you'll find out like the next day, oh my God, all my oil leaked out. And it's because they got in there banging on something and messed something up. They broke something, and then they didn't want to tell you about it. They didn't want to get in trouble. They didn't want to have to pay for it. "45 miles to go." I've got all the trucks passing me right now. One more truck, and then a box truck, and then, man, it's just trucks and trucks and trucks as far as the eye can see. I'm about to have trucks passing me for the next half hour probably. And it feels good to have a trailer. I do not like driving bobtail. The truck doesn't drive right without weight on the drive tires. Like, it feels squirrely without weight on the drive tires. It's actually quite easy for me to break traction without a trailer. Like, if I push the throttle down too hard, I can spin the tires. I feel like my drive tires could come loose at any moment when I don't have a trailer. And everything is so much smoother when I have a trailer. The suspension is better with a trailer, because without a trailer, no weight on those drive tires, the suspension is just so stiff. You go over a bump and it's just jarring. So much smoother with a trailer. Sorry I got quiet. I just started thinking about stuff. Got to remember to think out loud while I'm recording. I hope the video quality is good. I'm excited to be able to record driving footage again. The mount is really solid. The phone, it's so bright in here I can't see the screen, but I think that the video quality is good. I hope the audio quality is good. When I upload the video, I will watch the YouTube video and make sure that the video and audio quality are good. It should be a huge improvement over previous driving videos. Well, at least until my motion stabilizers, the ones where the motion stabilizers were going out. The quality was pretty good on the driving videos when I first started making them with my Pixel 3, until the motion stabilizer went out on that thing. I might need to tilt it down a little bit more until you can see like the top of the hood to have a reference point. I might do that. Man, are they ever going to tear down that water tower? That thing's been leaning over like that for I don't know how long. I mean, they leave it like that much longer, and they're just going to have to leave it there forever because that's going to become like a landmark. Left lane closed in half a mile. Okay, I was going to slow down and let this guy around me, but he hit the brakes at the same time I hit the brakes. And he dipped in behind me. And we've got four-wheelers racing. This is so stupid. It is so incredibly dangerous and stupid. Special little snowflakes. All right, that's the last of them. Hopefully this single lane ends on the other side of this bridge because somebody up there is going really slow. Well, maybe there's doing bridge work on the next bridge as well. Maybe it'll end after the next bridge. And the person that was going really slow sped up. All right, now we're out of it. Good to go. All right, what is going to be for dinner tonight? What are the things that I made to bring into the truck with me? I brought dirty rice, which I didn't even know dirty rice existed until I lived with a friend, and his mom made us dirty rice all the time. And they were Korean. And I thought dirty rice was like some Korean thing. And it wasn't until I moved out and I wanted to figure out how to make dirty rice that I looked it up, and I found out it was actually Cajun. And then I had to try and like figure out a dirty rice recipe. So basically my dirty rice recipe is hot sausage, mushroom, onion, so hot sausage, mushroom, onion, rice, of course. Is that it? Hot sausage, mushroom, onion, and rice. I think that's about it for the main recipe. There might be other ingredients like bell peppers that I will occasionally throw in, but it's just I cook up. So I had to figure out the whole process of doing it, because what I was doing at first was Schaefer, Crete, slow past me, and now they're pretty close in front of me. Got to hover the brake pedal. What I was doing at first was I was just making rice, and then separately I was cooking up the hot sausage, and then I was adding in the mushrooms and onions and just mixing it all together and cooking it together. And then I would combine the rice and then all the rest of the ingredients and just stir it up. But it just never mixed well. I was like, this isn't right. And I talked with people about it, and they're like, no, you've got to like cook them together. You've got to like cook the rice, add the rice inside the ingredients, and then cook the rice inside of it. So that's what I started doing, is I would cook the hot sausage with the onion and the mushrooms. And then once it was all done, then I would add rice to it, add water, and then steam the rice mixed in with all that stuff. And that came out really well. And that's my dirty rice recipe. And I think dirty rice is one of those things that's like goulash, where, just a second here, I'm watching this Schneider leaving the rest area, and I've got two trucks to my left passing me, and this Schneider is hauling butt through the rest area. Are you kidding me, Schneider? You jackass. He's racing to fucking get in front of me. Oh my goodness. You know, if you weren't going 40 miles an hour through the parking lot trying to get in front of me, we wouldn't be having these problems. There's not a truck behind me for over a mile. I don't know why people are so stupid, almost causing a 3-truck accident trying to race to get in front of me when there's a mile of nothing behind me. That would have been more like a 4-truck accident. Anyway, so I've got dirty rice is one of the things that I made. to bring out onto the truck. Um, Barbecue beans or cowboy beans. There's several different names, but it's basically beans in barbecue sauce. Here comes the idiot Schneider. It's not even Schneider, it's AC Cargo. It's one of those no-name fly-by-night small carriers pulling a Schneider trailer. Like the sign was duct taped to the side of their truck. So we got barbecue beans or cowboy beans, whatever you want to call them, and they did not come out very well. I was trying to do the recipe without brown sugar. I always use brown sugar, and I was trying to do the recipe with honey, and I also tried it with regular like white sugar, pure cane sugar, and it didn't come out right. I did not put a good mixture of sugar or honey in it. So I'm not looking forward to eating those beans because they didn't come out very well. Because I was trying out new recipes. I also have regular pinto beans, and I have chicken and rice, and I just have regular chicken that I baked. I don't know what you'd call it. The way I cook the chicken is I get these chicken thighs, and I put just a really light coating of just a tiny little bit of cooking oil in the pan, mainly so that they just won't stick. And then I will sprinkle salt, pepper, garlic salt, and seasoned salt on the chicken, and then I'll let it cook at on the cooktop, covered at 200 degrees for about an hour and a half, and it just falls off the bone. Oh my goodness, it comes out amazing. It's nowhere near as good, after it's been frozen and reheated as it is fresh, but that's the chicken that I brought with me, is chicken that I cooked that way. And I put the food into these little biodegradable, disposable containers, and then I put them in the freezer and freeze them. So I basically make my own frozen dinners. That's what I bring with me out in the truck to eat, aside from a little bit of canned food. I don't buy nearly as much canned food as I used to because it's gotten so crazy expensive. Like, I just can't justify buying canned food anymore. It's like $2.50, $3, $4, $5 a can. It's like, I can buy like real food and cook it up and freeze it, and it's a lot better and a lot cheaper than buying canned food. So I used to keep quite a bit of canned food in the truck, but like Campbell's soups and stuff like that. Like the just a second here. Another group of people passing me. Like the what is it? The thick and hearty or whatever Campbell's soups that are not like just liquid soups. They have real food in them. I used to keep a bunch of those in the truck. But they've just gotten so damn expensive that it's just not worth it. And I took all of the water jugs out and refilled them. And so here's the deal on the water jugs. So I normally keep, I believe, 4 water jugs, 4 1-gallon water jugs in the truck. And I've had them in the truck forever. And what I was doing was I was usually using less than 1 gallon while I was out over the road. So I was just refilling that 1-gallon jug whenever I would go home. So the other 3 jugs sat there for a couple of years with the same water in them for like a couple of years. Well, last time I was out over the road, I went through that entire jug that I always use, and I busted out one of the old jugs, and it tasted weird. It had like a moldy taste to it. It was a weird taste. And I was hesitant to even drink it, but I ended up drinking like 2 or 3 cups of water out of it, and I didn't feel comfortable drinking anymore. I was afraid I was going to get sick. I did not end up getting sick, but I took all of the jugs to the house. I cleaned them all out, and I did some research online about ways to store water long term. And basically, if you're going to store water long term, you need to take the same kind of precautions that you take during canning or jarring. So for canned goods, or whenever you're jarring something, once you seal it up, then you're supposed to bring it up to a temperature to kill all the bacteria and viruses inside the can. Otherwise, they're just going to multiply like crazy. So after you seal it up, you bring it up to like 165 degrees for a certain amount of time, and that should kill all of the bacteria and viruses. And now you're good to go basically forever. Canned goods never really go bad as long as they maintain their seal. Stay in your lane, RV. That RV just dropped speed like crazy going up that little hill. All right, now they're moving again. Don't forget that you've got a truck on the back. Just drifted over to my lane. Now they're coming over. But yeah, I don't know the exact amount of time that you need to get it. I think it's 165 degrees, a certain amount of time, and it kills all the bacteria. And that's the reason all canned goods are cooked. Like, if you're ever wondering, is this canned good safe to eat raw? Yes, it is. Every canned good is cooked because they have to bring it up to the 165 degrees to kill all the virus and bacteria in it. Is this thing getting onto the interstate, or they're driving down the side road? That oversized vehicle is driving down the service road. "21 miles to go, we're getting there." But yeah, canned goods basically last forever unless the seal is broken, but they have a best buy date. They don't have an expiration date. They have a best buy date. And that best buy date is flavor. Canned goods will lose their flavor over time. So if you eat some canned food that's like 50 years old, it should be safe to eat as long as the seal is intact. It is kind of risky, but it should be safe. But it's probably going to taste bland. It's going to have no flavor at all. So that's one way that you can store water long term, is put the water in there, seal it up, and then bring it up to 165 degrees, kill all the virus and bacteria in it. That's not the method that I chose to use. The other method is fill it up with water and then put about 7 to 8 drops of chlorine bleach into the water. About 7 drops per gallon. And that should be enough to kill all the virus and bacteria in it. So that's what I did. So now my water storage should be good to go. $18 miles. Which truck stop to try? There's a truck stop on the left side of the road and one on the right side of the road. If I go to the truck stop on the right side of the road, then it's an easy right turn to get into, and it's an easy right turn to get out of to go to Amazon. If I go to the one on the left side of the road, I have to make a left turn across traffic to get in, and I have to make a left turn across traffic to get out to go to Amazon. But the truck stop on the right side, I believe, is a Pilot or a Flying J, and it has a much smaller parking lot. Whereas the one on the left side of the road is a mom and pop truck stop with a much bigger parking lot. People tend to park at the major chains more than mom and pops because that's where they have their reward programs. So the Pilot Flying J is more likely to be full than the mom and pop. Decisions. Maybe I will be able to see the parking lots from the road and make a decision from the road before, I pull into them. The other thing is the Pilot Flying J parking lot looked pretty tight. It's a small parking lot, and they're trying to squeeze every inch out of it. I think I kind of prefer the mom and pop. But I never got around to making a decision on food to eat. Dirty rice, barbecue beans, pinto beans, chicken, and I think I have one thing of chicken and rice. I think that's all that I brought this time. I've tried other things like I tried macaroni and cheese, and reheated macaroni and cheese came out kind of rubbery. It was still edible. It was still pretty good, but it was a little bit rubbery. And I tried fried potatoes, and they came out mushy reheated, but they were still pretty good. The fried potatoes basically turned into more like mashed potatoes. They weren't just reheated, they were frozen and reheated. So frozen and reheated, they came out mushy, and the macaroni and cheese frozen and reheated came out rubbery. So The thing that I found comes out best is beans. Like pinto beans, barbecue beans, those are the absolute best things to freeze and reheat. They come out like almost exactly the same as, before they were frozen. The dirty rice is still pretty good, but it's not quite as good as whenever it was, before it was frozen. But it is still pretty good. So dirty rice is a good option. Just about any kind of beans is a good option. And I'm still trying other things to see what tastes decent after being frozen and reheated. And I did end up buying one of those, oh my goodness, what's it called? One of those cooktops. I'm going to get this wrong. It heats up through magnetism. Induction cooktop. I bought one of those new wave induction cooktops. And I used it a lot at home. It is so awesome to be able to program a temperature instead of just guessing with a dial at what temperature it might possibly be. To be able to just program in the temperature. Oh my goodness, that is so amazing. I've stopped using my electric, stovetop, and the entire time I was at home, I was using that induction cooktop to do everything. It was amazing. I had to buy some new pans. I don't think any of my old pans worked with the induction cooktop. And I bought it to bring out onto the truck, but I decided against bringing it on the truck this time. I still need to do some more testing with it. What I was thinking I could use it for on the truck was not necessarily just straight cooking. What I was thinking I could use it for on the truck was, right now I have a little warming plate that I use to heat up my frozen dinners, and it takes forever to heat those things up. Like, it can take 2 hours or more to take one of my frozen dinners from frozen solid to hot. It can take 2 or 3 hours. Now, if it's room temperature, it can get it hot in, maybe 30 to 45 minutes. But I was thinking, with that cooktop, I could probably heat up those frozen meals in like 30 minutes instead of 3 hours. But I've got to figure out a way to do it without melting the plastic container that they're in. So yeah, I'm going to have to do some testing at home. To see if that's even a viable option to use the cooktop for that. Something I could potentially look into is getting a container. Like, I could dump the frozen dinners out of those plastic containers into like a metal container that works on the induction cooktop, and just heat up that metal container. Like, just think of like a metal bowl that will work on the induction cooktop. And I could just dump the frozen dinner into that metal bowl and turn the induction cooktop up to like 200 degrees and just let it heat up the container, which will heat the food inside of it. Maybe that's what I'll look at doing next time I go home. I'll do some research while I'm out over the road and see if I can find a metal container like that. And I can just clean it in between, the food. I think that'd be a lot easier than trying to heat up the plastic container, the food inside the plastic, while it's inside the plastic container, without melting the plastic. And I'd be able to increase the temperature by more, which would allow me to heat it up faster. I don't know. We'll see. We'll just have to see how it goes. Six miles left. 5 miles until the exit, and then about 1 mile to find a parking spot. We're getting close. I think I'll do the barbecue beans. Just because they're like the worst thing in there. I know that they're bad recipes. They're edible, but they're not very good. So maybe that's what I'll start with, just to get them out of the way. What is with I-40 trading, exit 80? What's with all these trailers parked on this property alongside the road? This person just collect crap? Like, there's a bunch of old trailers that aren't really of much use now. Free 72-ounce steak. The Big Texan, 3 miles ahead at exit 74. That's a lot of steak. With how expensive beef is these days, man, if you can't eat it and get it for free, then it's probably going to cost you a couple $100. Amarillo city limit. We are now in Amarillo.
Take exit 75 toward Hollow Durham Canyon State Park.
All right, 2 miles. We're taking exit 75. All right, looks like we're clear to move over into this new lane. Oh, that's a nice place to park. Tons of spots. Plenty of room. Oh, that's a nice. Oh, and there's another truck stop across the street from it with tons of spots open. Ah, too bad it wasn't at that exit. Those 2 truck stops would be amazing to park at. Maybe I should have just stopped there. If I would have known that that's what it was like, that's what I would have done. Oh, I still got 3/4 of a mile. I'm not taking this one. Not this exit, the next exit. See, that Flying J truck stop? There's still quite a few spots there, but that place is a lot more packed than those 2 mom and pop truck stops that we just passed.
Take exit 75, then merge onto I-40 frontage road.
So there's a Flying J right there, and then there's a Pilot. The Pilot is the one up here. There's just so many truck stops in Amarillo.
Continue on I-40 frontage road for half a mile.
All right, one more lane change. Amarillo is like a very, very trucker-friendly town. Wish there was more freight coming in and out of here. All right, so
Turn right onto South Lakeside Drive.
the Pilot does not look very inviting. There's a lot of trucks parked there, and the fuel island is full. So we're gonna go to the mom and pop
Turn right onto South Lakeside Drive.
on the
then turn
left. All right, they've got a left turn that they're doing over there, so I got plenty of room to jump across all the lanes.
Take the second left, then you will arrive at your destination.
Yeah, this is not a bad left turn to get into. And we're going to be going that same direction. We're going to keep going that way to get to Amazon tomorrow. All right, truck entrance is further down. Yeah, nice wide road. So that's the truck exit, and here is the truck entrance. Little RV park. Man, this is Amarillo is awesome. All right, we want to find, that would be a good parking spot if people weren't parked all crooked in it. It looks like all the spots have tons of room. So I want the sun behind me. I want to be facing north. So I want to grab one of these spots over here to my left where I'm facing north. And you know what? Let's grab that spot right next to prime so that I can limit the possibility of somebody backing into me. There's only one side that people can back in next to me on. All right, let's get the seat belt off, get the window down, get the four ways on. Let me get situated here. I haven't driven the truck in a while, so you gotta remember how to back up. So far, so good. Holy crap. Look like I know what I'm doing. Every now and then I get lucky. I mean, it's not perfect, but I'm going to have to straighten up a little bit. I mean, I could just leave it right here like this because I'm centered in the spot, but I don't want to be centered in the spot. I want to be on, just a second here. I don't know if this truck's going to want to come down this direction. It's a day cab. I doubt they're coming into the parking area. I want to be like an inch away from the curb on my right side. Well, maybe not an inch away. I need to give myself just a little bit of breathing room to be able to turn out. But I want to be really, really close to the curb on this side to give the person on my other side as much room as possible to back into that spot if that prime driver leaves. Just, I want to limit my possibility of getting hit. We're good. All right, I'm going to pause this. I'm going to go do a post-trip inspection real quick, and then we'll wrap up the video. All right. So we got, you know what? I'm going to try to take the phone out. Hopefully the video doesn't mess up. Try to take the phone out of the holder. And I'll show you the truck. We're a little crooked. It'll work. But got tons of room in case Prime leaves and somebody else backs in here. They'll have plenty of room to back in. And got a lot of time to kill. Oh, a little tip. These curbs are not bad because they're so low. But whenever you're backing into a spot, don't back in to high curbs and let your tires bump. You'll rip your mud flaps off. All sealed up, all locked up. Look how nice these tires are. All that tread. Oh my goodness. Pretty nice trailer. And when I threw the IFTA sticker on, I got this one a little crooked. Ah. But we're parked and going to be sitting here until tomorrow. I'll probably, it's only a couple miles away from here, so I'll probably leave at about 11:20, 11:25 is maybe about 11:25, because it'll take me 5 minutes to get out of the parking lot. So somewhere around 11:20, 11:25, I'll take off and drive like 1 or 2 miles north of here. And that's where the Amazon is at. And then start looking for the next load. Hopefully I get some awesome load out of here. If not, maybe I'll go down to Dallas, but we'll see if we can't get a nice big paying load to Portland. That's the dream. You know, I miss the days whenever I could easily get like $8,000-$9,000 loads going from Dallas to Portland. Like they were a dime a dozen. They were easy to get. Those were the days. But anyway, I'm gonna grab something to eat and make my bed and get some sleep and just chill out for the rest of the day. So I hope the driving footage was good. I hope this thing's going to work out for driving footage. And I hope you're having a great weekend. Bye.